I'm just letting everyone in the room, and the call is recorded as well, so that ladies that can't jump on that want to watch it after. And I'm just gonna right, yeah. So there you go. Right. Good evening, ladies. How are we all on this Menopause Monday? hopefully not feeling too menopausal. Um, so thank you so much for joining the call, ladies. For those of you that don't know me and have not been on my calls before, I'm Zoe and I'm a fellow menopause sufferer. And I love hosting and delivering these calls every month. We didn't have one last month because it was the summer holidays, and so it feels like ages since my last call, which was in July. Um, so I've got two guest speakers tonight, but before I bring on my first guest speaker, I just wanted to sort of have a little bit of a chat about sort of navigating through our perimenopause journey. And whilst that there are things available out there like HRT, that can help. It's really important that it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're on HRT or not, that you make changes to help improve your symptoms that you experience. And I would sort of ask yourself, what's in your menopause toolkit? And so, just to give you an example, in my menopause toolkit, I include regular exercise. Now I've started lifting more weight, so I'm doing sort of 3 weight workouts a week. I used to do a lot of running, so I still run, but not so much. My diet, I've made a lot of changes to my diet. For years, I followed a Weight Watchers diet, which is low fat and sort of counting calories as such. But now I make sure that I eat 3 regular meals a day, that I'm incorporating more protein into my diet. I'm cutting out processed food, sugar. I'm not skipping meals, and I'm also adding in good nutrition through supplements. So I'm bridging the gap with what I'm not getting in my diet every day. I'm also walking and I'm talking and I'm sharing about my journey. And I feel like this has really transformed my menopause journey. So I think, we've all got the opportunity to start making these changes, to help ourselves and help improve our menopause symptoms. So that, it's ask yourself, what are you putting in your menopause toolkit to help you? So firstly, I'd like to introduce Yasmin. So Yasmin is a nutritional therapist. Hi, Yasmin. And she specifically helps ladies who are going through the perimenopause. So, Yasmin, tell us a bit about what you do and how you help ladies that are struggling through the menopause.
Your therapist. I started practicing actually in 2021, and I kind of got into nutrition because so many different things. I believe now, when I look back, it probably was perimenopause symptoms. But I had my last child at about 41, and I had postpartum psychosis. So it was really, really, really bad. And I was really ill, and they couldn't really figure out what was going on until they gave me a diagnosis of postpartum psychosis. And I do think in part, I had lots of symptoms before then. Like I had anxiety, I was quite depressed, I was quite fat, quite low. I think when I gave birth, I think all those feelings just became really, really bad. And yeah, so I had that, and then top of all of that, my mom passed away during and basically in 3 weeks. She went to pulmonary fibrosis, which is like a bit like an autoimmune disease. And they said, well, she's going to die. So I had a really tough time at that period. But I came back wanting answers, and the doctors couldn't help me at all. They said, well, we can't really help. You can't give you answers. So I started looking into nutrition, and actually found this wonderful world of wellness, which kind of answers some of my questions, but not all of them. And by this point, I think I was probably about 45, 46. And I just thought, you know, I want to go to nutrition. And some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today, which is quite general, but I think even the general changes are quite, you know, they're quite amazing. They can do so much. I think people just expect it to be some magic cure, or I'm going to give them something amazing. But the smallest things, like making sure you get, you know, lots of sleep, is so important. And it's kind of like one of the things, you know, it's quite tough. I understand that you do need to try to be in bed by 10 o'clock. And I mean, sometimes I struggle with it as well, but, you know, I'm getting there definitely. And it has helped. So discovery course that give me a call me to talk about, you know, what they, you know, what they want help with. And then I kind of tell them how I work. So, and then we kind of get together and we kind of devise an individual personalized plan for which has not only nutrition, but I also have things like their lifestyle, sleeping, supplements. So it's very individualized because I use the framework of functional medicine. I don't know if you've heard of that at all, but it's very personal, and to kind of get back down to the roots of why this person is feeling the way they are feeling, which is most of the time is to do with, you know, perimenopause, menopausal symptoms. Very personalized things to them. But the general stuff that I want to discuss today is, for example, as you said, nutrition is quite important, definitely. And as you said, HRT is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, life-saving for so many women. But HRT can't replace a good diet, can't replace how you're sleeping, what you're doing with your life, you know, your life in terms of your lifestyle, how you're relaxing, are you reducing stress levels? It won't replace that, or it might help you with your symptoms, but there's so much more to it than just that. It's kind of like, I kind of see it as like a holistic approach. And if the person that I'm seeing feels like she needs HRT also added to, it's absolutely no problem at all with me. So would you like me to discuss kind of stuff that I recommend?
Yeah, that would be really helpful, actually, Yasmin. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, brilliant. So I think when I talk to women, what I get, the three most common things they come to me with is usually lack of energy, not getting enough sleep, or they have trouble falling asleep. And then when they fall asleep, they have trouble getting up. They get up in the night and then they can't get back to sleep, basically. And weight gain, that is very, very common. I get asked about weight gain all the time. I do want to emphasize, if you're happy with your weight, that's brilliant. I don't want to kind of say, well, you know, you're menopausal, you should be losing weight. If you're happy with it, no problem at all. Equally, if you want to lose it, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But usually I think women kind of think that weight gain during their 40s and 50s is to do with hormone levels, but actually we found studies find that it actually has no effect whatsoever. The same rate in their 40s and 50s. I think there's a lot more emphasis on women gaining weight because as our society is, we're kind of taught to be look a certain way. So people will go on and on about women gaining weight. There is definitely a fat distribution that changes, which we all know about, which is the menopausal belly. But usually that's there for very important reasons, actually your body trying to compensate for your low estrogen levels. So that's why it's the purpose. It's not just put there for no reason at all, but it's there kind of to help to compensate it, because your belly fat is actually quite to keep you going. So that's what usually happens. We actually our metabolic rate actually doesn't change until we're 60 years old. I think women probably gain weight during this time generally is because usually they gain perimenopausal symptoms. So it could be like you don't want to exercise because your joints are achy. You might have hot flushes, so you're being up all night. The last thing you want to do is go out for a walk or, you know, be busy doing other things. I think that's what usually happens. But what I say to them is that, first of all, with nutrition is that, as you said, protein is really, really important to have in our. People say, I keep reading, too much emphasis on protein, too much emphasis on protein. But I do think it's really understated. Protein is like amazing for so many different levels. It stops cravings, for example. You won't get cravings at all. for, you know, sugary items and things like that, things that you probably shouldn't. Well, you can eat sugary items, of course. I don't like saying all foods are bad. It's very important to have a good relationship with food, despite what it is. But, you know, you won't get the same cravings. And also we need protein as well, because as we get older, we are more prone to get sarcopenia, which is actually muscle wastage. And again, I would say, as young, you probably know, Zoe, as well, that, you know, your muscles are quite, you know, our factories that keep us fit and healthy, and kind of will reduce your chances of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and lots of other chronic disease that we're prone to after 50 years old. And also it helps to make hormones as well, neurotransmitters and enzymes. And you know, most people say to me, well, I don't need protein for hormones because I haven't got anything. But we do have other hormones in our melatonin, serotonin, obviously for sleeping, to keeping happy, etc. And also to balance our blood sugar levels. We're quite prone to a lot of mood swings as well, which is quite common as well. I think people don't tend to talk about that. And I think when you go to the doctors, they do give you antidepressants, and that's fine. Usually it's because, you know, you're not getting enough protein in your diet. And also getting enough protein in your diet also stops weight loss as well. Not weight loss, sorry, hair loss, which is quite common as well in our, when we go to go. And I would mention is healthy fats, which are really important. Again, you know, they're really important just to keep us, you know, full, and also to keep our, you know, skin quite plump. Healthy fats are very important for our brains. So, for example, we get brain fog, and also we're prone to Alzheimer's disease. Women are anyway, than men. And, you know, you need to get enough healthy fat in your diet. I mean, for example, the brain has, you know, with omega-3 oils, which you can get in fatty fish or oily fish. There's a particular type of fat are in our brains. And I think it's about 75% of our brains are made of DHA, something like that. Can't quite remember how much it was, but it's quite a large amount. So, you know, why wouldn't we want to incorporate this wonderful oil, omega-3? It's also very good for, you know, reducing inflammation, because I think when we go into perimenopause, our body is in a state of being inflamed the whole time. You know, our cortisol levels are kind of going up because our estrogen and progesterone are declining as well. You know, your body's trying to keep up your pace of life and everything. So healthy, like omega fats, as I said, I was taught this this way to remember really healthy fish that we could get, like, and it's like, you kind of think of smash. So the S is for salmon, M is for mackerel, A is for anchovies, S is for sardines, and H is for herrings. So that's really, really important way to remember, you know, oily fish, fatty fish, to have in your diet. We can get omega-3s in flaxseed oils and other vegan sources like chia seeds, but our body can't convert them as much, not to the levels that we would need as well. We don't. So I think the best thing to do is to get it from oily fish. If you can't get it from oily fish, if you don't want to eat oily fish, if you're vegan, for example, you can get a supplement like an algae oil. So that would work as well. So that's another thing that I would say is very important. Other healthy fats, which are omega-3s, are, you know, like avocados, olive oils, walnuts, different types of nuts and seeds, like pumpkin seeds as well, but is very good as well for you. And then size with clients is fruit and vegetables, which is really, really important to have fiber in our diet. The NHS says you should have about 5 a day, but I say let's go for 7 to 9 portions of fruit and veg. It can be achieved. It does seem really daunting at first, but it can definitely be achieved. You can, I mean, I try and think about plants. So plants include obviously fruit and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, lentils. Oh, there's kind of a whole range of different. So get at least 30 plants a week in your diet. It's absolutely brilliant, really good for you. And also, you know, I think we're also prone to constipation as well as we get older. So that'll keep everything moving towards the right direction. That's really, really good. And also, I think a lot of women also at this time also experience digestive issues because our gut actually has estrogen receptors on it. In fact, all of our body estrogen receptors. So that's why you'll get women coming with, you know, they're feeling bloated, they're feeling about, you know, the face is puffy, they're getting heartburn more often. I mean, I did anyway. I remember I started getting heartburn. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Heartburns. You know, I've never had heartburn and now I'm getting heartburn. But it is to do, that's one of the reasons why. But if you have a good diet which contains fiber, that hopefully will start eliminating. You'll start feeling a lot better, moving things the right direction. Also, lots of plants also have something called, I don't know, I'm sure you've heard of this, Zoe, phytoestrogens, which are absolutely brilliant. And, you know, all plants have a little something that mimics estrogen in our bodies. A lot of people get a bit nervous because they think, oh no, I don't want to increase my chances of cancer. But actually, that's not been found at all. You can safely take soya, maybe not so soya because it depends where you get it from, but things like, you know, Adame, we would recommend work with a practitioner to see your dosage and things like that. But you can take things like red clover, peaches, apples, oats, chickpeas have phytoestrogens as well. So, you know, that's really good. Well, these kind of things are really fantastic to add to your diet, and also eating the rainbow, which is brilliant. So all different colors. Like go to your supermarket, you know, choose lots of different things that, you know, red, yellow, purple, white, you know, orange, all the different colors of fruit and vegetables, and try to be. But I know people get in the same habit of eating the fruit and vegetables every week, day in, day out. But let's be a bit adventurous. Go for different things. You know, definitely make your life a lot more, you know, a lot more easier and interesting. So besides the nutrition, I mean, I could talk about this on and on, to tell you the truth, but I also talk about, you know, I do try to put a lot of lifestyle changes into my clients, into their life. As important, sarcopenia, and also reducing, you know, fractures and everything. I think women just think when I talk to them, they want to lose weight, they want to lose weight. But I say, okay, you want to lose weight, but don't emphasize losing weight. Really, you should be looking at wanting to look strong. And I'm not talking about bulking up. I think a lot of women are worried, oh my God, if I eat too much protein, I go to the gym and start lifting weights, I'm going to bulk up, I'm going to look like a man. But actually, you need to eat loads of protein, you know, really be in the gym all the time, pumping iron. And that's how you'll bulk up. What I'm saying is, no, you want bulk up. And it's nice to have definition as well. You want to have more muscle than, you know, fat, basically. So I would always emphasize, let's go for looking strong. And let's not talk about losing weight, because we think straight away think about losing fat. We've got to lose fat. We need to increase our muscle tone rather than reduce our fat. So, you know, I was talking about, as you said, definitely strength training. You don't need weights. You can even use, you know, those bands. That's the same thing. Go into YouTube, do a few things if you don't want to go to the gym. Obviously, gyms are fantastic. There's lots of classes that you can join in and socialize with. Walking is fantastic as well. Doing a little bit of cardio is okay, but I wouldn't do loads and loads. As I said, our bodies are in a state of being inflamed. And if you do too much cardio, I'm talking about an hour, really heavy running or aerobic exercise, I think sometimes it can, not with all women, I have to emphasize, but some women actually makes the symptoms feel a lot more worse. And they think, well, why am I not losing weight? It's because, you know, cortisol, which is our stress, increases as well in exercise. So you're stressed anyway, because you're not getting enough sleep, you're kind of grappling with all these symptoms, you go to the gym, and you think, right, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to start doing a load of aerobic exercise, and actually you come back feeling a lot worse, still can't sleep, still haven't lost any weight. So not so much aerobic, do a little bit, fine, 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I mean, you know what's good for you, but definitely strength training, walking, that's fantastic as well. Don't underestimate that. I think with walking as well, you'll be in nature basically, which is a fantastic feeling. When I was younger, I was just thought, what's nature? That's so boring. But actually, it's really lovely. I love nature. So it's such a change for me compared to how I used to be like, definitely. I also put, for sleeping, I just think it's really important that we do try to go to bed around about 10. Again, I know it's really difficult. It's something that I sometimes kind of like won't go to bed till, well, tell you the truth, two of them are on a gap year, so they won't go to bed till 1 o'clock, and I kind of slam the door, and it makes me really cross. I'm just like, no, I'm going to sleep. Please don't slam the door. Get ready before I get into bed, please. But it's a good idea to do it because we have to look after our brain health, which I have to really emphasize, ladies. Our brain health, it does naturally deteriorate, but we can do so much to prevent it. We want it to keep functioning. We need our sleep. It's really important. I know it's tough when you have hot flushes. I know that, completely understand that. But, if during the day, if you can, if you feel like you haven't had enough sleep, during the day, if you can get 20 minutes nap, that's brilliant, not anymore. If you can't nap for whatever reason, if you're at work, I think it's a really good idea to get a blindfold and some earplugs and have 10 minutes of no stimulation just to calm your brain. Am I talking too much? Oh, I can't hear you.
No, sorry, I think I don't know what happened there. I went quiet, but I don't know. I was going to say, no, you carry on. We're probably in 5 minutes because I've got my other guest speaker as well to come on. But no, it's brilliant listening to you. I think what you're saying is great. So please, do sort of
Oh,
finish off yeah.
okay, brilliant.
No, it's been great.
So
Thank you.
oh, it's okay. You're welcome. I think as well, before you go to bed, you kind of need to put certain routines into place. So, don't make any stressful calls before you're about to go to bed. I mean, we all have friends or an aunt that's going to call us and complain about their day. Of course, you want to be there for them, but you need to be in a really good state in order to go to bed. So usually I say, stop eating about 3 hours before you go to bed. It is different for everybody. I think I had a client once that said, no, I have to stop eating at 90 minutes. And be absolutely starving. So it does vary. So, work with it. I would say probably 3 hours before you go to bed. 2 hours, I would say, stop your work. You're working in the evening. Let's give yourself 2 hours. Stop. That's it. It's done. And then 1 hour, let's put away all your screens, such as your laptop, your phone, your TV, your anything else that you're looking. Let's shut all of that down and start going into our relax stage. So our body knows, okay, we're getting ready for bed. Also dim the lights in your room as well. That's a good way. So your body kind of gets those cues. Let's start winding down. Another thing you can do is when you wake up in the morning, and the temptation is obviously to look at your phone, don't look at your phone. Go straight to the window or the garden. And I know it's going to be pretty hard as winter comes in, but we really need that light and that fresh air to hit us. Kind of stimulates our gland, which is, our pineal gland over here, and tells the brain, okay, it's morning, time for us to get up and let's start moving. So then when it's night, they'll kind of read the signals better. So that's something else that I kind of implemented in my life. And it is really, at first I kept touching my phone. No, I can't do it. Mind you, it's much easier to do it in the summer. So, but we'll do our best, definitely. Another thing is that to reduce, our stress levels. I talk to a lot of women, they kind of, they call me up. I can see it's not only the physical symptoms that we have that we go through at this time. We also have so much going on in our lives that we have to kind of, it's like an acceptance. Okay, this part of our life is finishing, our reproductive years. We're now going into next stage of our life. And a lot of women find that difficult. They start reassessing their friendships, the relationships, pressure, aging parents. Some of us still have teenagers at home like me. I have a 10-year-old that's still at home. Obviously, she's not going to be anywhere else, but it's really tough. It's really, really difficult. You do have to reassess everything. I mean, that's what I've done. I've decided to start my career as a nutritional therapist. I've been at home for about 20 years, getting pregnant, having children, getting pregnant. I've got 5 altogether. But now I'm starting my career in my 50s, you know, and I think it's really important to emphasize that men, and one of our chapter is finishing and we're starting a new chapter, but this new chapter is so positive, you know, we can kind of like see it, things of, you know, we can empower ourselves with information, we can do all the things that we wanted to do that we couldn't do before, you know, it's amazing. And I think also we're very lucky if we do get to our menopause. I've lost a few friends who are in their 40s, you know, I bet they would do anything to swap with me to, you know, to see their children grow up. So we are very lucky. We have to kind of think of it this way. And today I actually read something on social media. This lady, she said that she's 37 and she always wishes, oh my gosh, I wish my body was how it used to look like when I was 18. She thinks she gets morning and she pretends that she's 90 years old. And she kind of thinks, I'm 90 years old, but my body is 37 years old. But I'm going to live like I've got another 50 years, which I just think is so quite powerful, really, really powerful. Don't think of your body being, I don't know, 50, 51, 52. Just think, okay, I'm 90, but I'm going to live my life again. You know, it's too much emphasis on how we look all the time. It is important. I totally get that. But we are very, you know, obsessed with youth and looking young and all the rest of it. But, you know, I dye my hair, but sometimes I have a bit of white coming through. Grey, it's not even grey, it's white. And my husband will go, oh, you got a patch of white there. I don't care. I don't care. It's there. I'm getting older. Who cares? I think I'm still attractive anyway, but you know, who cares? You can look attractive with wrinkles. I'm going to smile. Let them come out. Who cares? You know, you just have to kind of, it is, you know, a very challenging time, but you have to work
Good
through
on
it,
you.
you know. And what do you think, Zoe?
Yeah, do you know what? I absolutely agree. I think actually, you know, the older we get going into menopause, we should care less about what people think and just
Yeah,
enjoy ourselves. And in some ways, we're in, you know, we're going, like you said, we're going into a different stage of our lives, and we should embrace it really. I mean, yay, we're not having any more periods. Woohoo!
yeah, exactly.
You know, we should be celebrating that. You know, that's quite awesome. I know we've got all the other perimenopause symptoms that go with it, but you know, there's lots of positives that you know that we should look at as well. And there's so much that we can do, you know, to help ourselves.
Exactly.
But thank you so much,
Yeah,
Yasmin. Honestly, you were an absolute minefield of information there. There was so much to take on board, which I'm sure everybody else thought the same. So I really appreciate that. If we've got time at the end, we'll have a little question and answers session. But I was just
yeah,
gonna bring
sure.
my next guest speaker on, Leanne, who's I don't know if you can put your camera on, Leanne. Can you hear me? Oh,
Hi.
hey, she is. Hello. All right.
I finally got on. Sorry, I had a few problems at the start, but yeah, I got it all working, I think, if you can all see me.
Lovely. Oh, thank you. So Leanne is actually a really good friend of mine. We go back a long way. And she's kindly agreed to come on and talk about her journey, which has been quite incredible. So over to you, Leanne. Tell us all about your menopause journey.
Yeah, so I am sort of currently probably I'd say more perimenopausal than going into the full menopause, but I'm 47 and I started perimenopausal probably let's say about a year or so ago, or more than that, probably slightly just before I actually became very ill, unexpectedly actually, with a brain tumor. So I was diagnosed after having a few seizures. I currently started on some capsules that Zoe had introduced me onto, so the premium capsules, which were helping with lots of things for me. And then unexpectedly, I started having seizures, and I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in the 20s. I then had an operation to remove the tumor in January 21, and I am fully recovered from that. So that's great in that sense. But I do feel that it's sort of started and brought on a lot more of the perimenopausal symptoms for me. It's funny actually, because I saw my surgeon only a few weeks ago after my second MRI, and he did actually, after it said he wouldn't really want me to go on to HRT. I had a quick brief chat with him because the type of tumour that I had, it was a benign meningioma. And he did say that because of HRT, he'd prefer me not to go on them and to try and any symptoms that I had to naturally overcome them, or obviously do anything that I can to prevent them, which is why again I was in touch with Zoe. As I say, I've known Zoe for a long time, and the omegas I introduced into my diet, shall I say, as a supplement not long after the so just before, actually before my operation. And then after that I continued with them because I also spoke to people at the hospital and about the tumour, and sort of said to them, I am on this supplement, which is an omega supplement. Can I continue? And they were very much sort of very impressed by the omega. Yes. So I've carried on with them, including other supplements. I concentrate a lot on my diet because being in perimenopausal and having the tumour. So I was on a medication with that. I was on steroids for at least a year and a half, which totally changed my life. And now I'm just coming out the other side, and that's been with the help of looking at my diet, and the supplements has been a major game change for me. And it was interesting to hear with Yasmin that the different types of exercise. Obviously I can't do massive cardio exercise, so I mainly concentrate on walking. I walk every day and try and get anywhere between 8 to 10,000 steps, but my main one is the gym, sort of 2 to 3 times a week. It's really benefited me. All my symptoms, I do suffer with sort of the sweats, sort of, maybe, but it's only a day thing. But I've got definitely a lot more energy. Lots of things with the omegas really helped me, and I can really recommend them to anybody, especially anyone going through the menopause. And diet is a massive thing. Also think it was interesting when Yasmin said, and what can I say, what an uplifting chat it has been in regards to, especially the way I definitely had to concentrate a lot on my sort of nighttime routine to get my brain to really sort of calm down and just get me ready for my bed, shall I say, especially a year even after my operation. So I definitely, and I still continue now to have a nighttime routine, and that's like my phone goes off, apart from this evening, shall we say, at sort of around 7:30. Sort of calm, and then go up to my room about 9 o'clock, which is then I'll have a nice shower and just either read a book, or I quite like a bit of meditation. And it's really helped me sort of refocus with my life. And I'd like to say as well, like, I'm just embracing everything that I've been through, and just then with the perimenopause, but I'm embracing my life now and thinking how lucky I am that I've come out the other side, and I'm one of the lucky ones. So yeah, I feel really well.
Oh, bless you, Leanne. Thank you so much. It's obviously, it really touches me because, we've been friends for so long, and it's just so nice to see that, that you're navigating your symptoms. You've recovered well from your operation.
Yeah.
Life throws so many hurdles at us, but I think yours is quite unique.
Yeah.
What you've been through. I mean, and like Leanne said, the products that she takes are what I've recommended to her that I take, and I think actually Yasmin, just going back to what you said about how important it is that we include, lots of varieties of fruit and veg in our diet.
Yeah.
Well, the fruit, veg, and berry capsules, which are the premium capsules, they actually give you a variety of 30 different fruit and veg in your diet every single day. And so that really helps bridge the gap when, on days when you're not, going to the supermarket and buying lots of different varieties. And I think that's made such a huge difference to me in terms of my energy, my skin, my immune system. For the last 3 years, I very rarely get colds or coughs. I feel like, my immune system is like really, tip top. And then the omegas, I think again, Yasmin, you touched on how important it is to have, omega-3s in our diet, all those oily fish. I mean, these ones are actually vegan and they source it, they skip the fish and go straight to the algae. And these include omegas-3, 7, and 9. But also, these omegas also include vitamin D3, zinc, lutein, and lycopene. And lutein and lycopene are actually phytoestrogens, which is what you touched on, Yasmin. And like you say, they sort of interact with our estrogen receptors, which are all over our body, and that can have a huge impact on our symptoms. And it certainly had an impact on mine, where I was struggling with the hot flushes, the night sweats, the sleep, I was struggling with the sleep, aches and pains, again, the inflammation. I think, menopause, it brings so much inflammation into our bodies. So, for me, by adding in these sort of supplements, it's just bridging the gap, with what I'm not getting in my diet every day. Although I am following a high protein diet. I'm trying to include all the macronutrients. So, your healthy fats, your carbs, and your proteins. And actually, vegetables are a carbohydrate, aren't they? Which I only learned that quite recently. Every day's a school day. So yeah, so I think we've only literally got not much longer left. So has anybody got any questions for either Yasmin, Leanne, or myself? Then please fire away. If you'd rather put them in the comments, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask. Let me just see if there's any comments in here. Oh, there's a few lovely comments here, guys. But no, I think Yasmin, what you've sort of touched